Hey folks, it's me again. So here I just want to talk about running loading tests, scripts against Salesforce environments, for example, right? It's actually there is not too many videos on YouTube and explaining how it's run. I just found only one guy who doing this. It's kind of workshop performance testing with Salesforce using Gmeter, and that's it. He's explaining in 1.5 hours how to do it, and he haven't get any meaningful result to showing up because he asking the money for this. But it's just only one video. Can you imagine it? Loading test, performance test against the Salesforce, just only one meaningful video. But most of the video about Salesforce, it's about integration, how it's work, how it's good, running Postman, Gmeter, something else, but not really the loading test with Gmeters against Salesforce. Just only one guy. He's pretty old man. Yeah, and that's why I'm starting creating this video. And you see, I want to get picture like this, where I can see the actually delay with all Salesforce workflow. And I name it a hybrid. It's a hybrid test. So this is record scripts, but I wouldn't be name it like API test because it's hybrid and not a browser test, not really pure API like you're doing with the Postman on Gmeter in the classic variant, right? So I'm explaining the way why it's hybrid and not a pure browser things or API things. Like if you go in a Postman, classically you're gonna get the token, right, and run some kind of API test with the select from accounts, like I've done it here, for example, and send it. So we get some kind of response. Then you can play around to create, to delete case, accounts, users, etc. And actually that's it. Yes, you can create the sequence with them, right, using some kind of features here, like emulate that you can log in, connect, delete, and you can create the test. But from here you can first of all you can't run the real loading test, right? This is just Postman. And secondary, I'm not interested in about just running API tests. These calls, it's working instantly. I know it's working the most of the time. And I'm not interested in it. Maybe sometimes when I run it like with 10,000 users at the same time, I will be interested. But most of the time, I'm interested to run couple to users and see how workflow is delaying. I want to see if it's really delay or not. Overall, for the workflow, like I'm showing here, open link, hit the link, click next button, create the user, log in, log out, and overall I see some kind of delay here in this kind of level, abstraction level, and even with the different kind of JavaScripts. You see, it's like spread out with the different metrics. But average is pretty meaningful already, right? You cannot get this information from the Postman just looking on the API calls, which is like almost instant, right? With the Chrome, you can get some kind of interesting picture with the Chrome. See, this is a browsing things. What you can see here, there is some kind of not just API calls, yeah. In the real Chrome things, you see that there is some kind of happen with something with JavaScripts, right? There's numerous, all of them. You can see that some of them really slow, some of them really fast. If you click refresh, and it's actually pretty meaningful things. And you see that, for example, some of them call for 1 milliseconds, and if you go to the lighthouse, you can see even more picture with performance and accessibility, right? Some kind of like first content paint, SpeedX. This is pure browser testing is what I would be saying. But still I want to see something like this in Gmeter, right? And you'll not be able to see it in the Gmeter running, just running the API calls like we do in the Postman or Assure API Assure on Gmeter, right? So I want to have this information about these networks, how it's running, and what's the performance. I already see in Chrome that it's some kind of delays, right? But this is a limitation Chrome. But I don't want to run it every time after each deployment, morning and evening. I want to run it automatically after deployment, trigger it, and see what's happening with my environment, how it's delay or not delay. So here I have to click every time to see what's ever happening. But the thing is, it's not a poor API test. Like you see, this is a lot of things happening here when I refresh the page, you see it's a lot of things happening. It's a numerous JavaScripts running here, and these JavaScripts running from the browser, they actually doing API calls. If you go in the header, you see the get, response, preview, and this is actually the API call, but this is not API call that I call from the Postman and Jmeter. This is a call from the browser. In my case, it's Chrome. It's actually the same thing with Firefox. Call to the actual method, Jenkins, Jmeter, JavaScripts, and JavaScripts doing these calls. So that's why I'm naming it. It's not like API test or browser test purely, right? I need something like hybrid. I still don't wanna hit the API directly, but I wanna hit with JavaScripts, simulating this activity from the backend in a browser, and send the get and pass response to the servers, right? So I'm not interested to put some kind of activities here, how buttons work and what is accessibility that I can see Lighthouse, right? It's still accessibility 96. No, I just want to simulate this from the backend, but still have this browser kind of things. That's what actually happened with that one. Yes, you can do it with a Selenium test, some sort of, right? Like I've done it here. So I'm waiting when the page was downloading, and I'll be able to see how many times I have to do it. For example, I'll be able to see it's like how many times I'm running in a test trail, how fast and how to using Selenium. See, I've tried like numerous times. That page still doesn't show up. So 20 times for 10 seconds. It's giving me kind of understanding that for 2 minutes I haven't get any response from the page using Selenium test. But still, Selenium test using the browser, WebDriver, right? I have to physically go in the browser, but what WebDriver Selenium doing, and click and hit the page, hit all components, hit the button. I want to do pretty same things, but from the backend using like API calls, but for the JavaScripts. And you see there is a lot of steps here, which is describing the flow when I creating the user, right? That's what I want to share it with you guys. So I've got this picture. It's pretty meaningful. I've tried to do same thing with a different kind of tools. Even I've tried to with how do you name it, Grafana or K6. They have a pretty same things here, but I cannot really control all these things what is happening here, and especially it's kind of glitchy things. Every time when I try to run something, it's waiting for something because it's in the cloud, and it's sort of a loading test. Like you see, it's like loading for some kind of stuff and glitches. Sometimes I cannot do anything here. So Gmeter pretty works for me for now. As you can see, I'm actually writing the real workflow to create a user and make sure that it is created in a Salesforce. It's not just like I'm hitting the buttons or hitting from the API from the backend or from the browser. No, it's actually real workflow which is creating the real accounts records. And like you see in the threads here, I ran it 25 times this API workflow, which is recorded for the Gmeter. And in the Salesforce, you actually see all of them here. In my case, all of them is. This is not, I'm not faking it. It's real tests, which is recorded for the Gmeter. And I'm running it 25 times, and it's come up with some kind of result here.